We did the insert and show in the last video. So this is the index method to show the data, and this is the insert method to insert the data. Now we are going to create a delete page to delete the data from the database. So for the delete, again, we want to create two methods. One is the get and one is the post. Action result, you want to delete, got it? And it will be deleted based on the ID. And here I'm using question mark. So this question mark used for the nullable. It means if there is no data for the ID, so do not display the error. And this is the HTTP get method. So what is our job? First, we have to check whether this ID is null or not. So use if ID is equal null. So what we have to do? Return HTTP status code status code result, got it? This is the class, and use HTTP status code, HTTP status code dot bad request. So it will return this bad request. You have to include this. No, there might be some mistakes. Let me check this. HTTP status code, that bad request. So let me include this directory, system.net. You have to include the directory. I will explain what is the job of this code and why we are using this code. Okay, so status not status. Okay, there was, yeah, Milad, there was a spelling mistake. So we use this HTTP status code result class, and here is all the status code is present, like 404, 403, 200. These are a list of status code which is mentioned here. So if the ID is null, it will display this bad request. Bad request, actually this is exception. It will display the exception that there is no data. We didn't found any data. All right. After that, we are going to retrieve the record from the database, std, and I will use st is equal to db dot std dot find function. We are using the find function to retrieve exact record based on this ID. This find function is used to retrieve data from the database using this ID, because we want to delete single record, not the complete database record. So based on this ID, it will find the record, and that will be stored in the st object. And then we are going to check whether there's data in the st or not. Again, we are going to check this. So if this is null, we are returning HTTP not found. Got it? HTTP not found. So it will display the error message that there is no data, because this st is empty. So we want to retrieve the data based on the ID that will be stored in this object, and then we want to check this. If this is null, so it will retrieve this message that it is empty. And finally, what we are doing, finally we just return the view. Got it? and pass the st. It means if this is not null, so return this view to the user. Okay, dear student, we create this one, and this is just the get method, you can see, and this will just retrieve the data from the database. It will check based on the ID. If the ID is null, display this message. If not, the ID is not null, then it will display data from the database, and then it will check if the data is not present, so it will display not found message. If the data is present, so that will pass the data to the page. So we have created this method, and this is the get method. Now we are going to create one more method, and this will be the post method. Got it? And this post method is used to delete data from the database. Is it clear? To delete data from the database. To delete data from the database, so that must be the post method, not the get method. Okay, wait. So here we want to create another method, public action result, and I will name it delete. Got it? The same, this one is also delete, but this is the get, and this will be the post. Delete and pass the ID. It will delete data based on the ID. So write down here HTTP post, because this method is HTTP post method, and that is going to delete the record. Okay. So here again we are going to retrieve data from the database. Student st is equal to db.st.find the record based on the ID. Mean retrieve data from the database, and here we want to use db.st.remove. Remove function is used to delete the data. Pass the st, and then use db.save_change. So that will save the change. So this code will retrieve, will delete record from the database. And from here, we are going to be redirect to the action method. Redirect to action. Which action? To the index action. So here you will see whether the data is deleted or not. Okay, let me explain these two action method. We have created two action method for the delete action to delete the data. One is HTTP get. So this will just retrieve data, and that will be visible on the page. And the second one is HTTP post, and this is also the delete, and that is used to delete data from the, from what? From the database. So in this get method, we just check whether this ID is null or not. If the ID is null, so display the status code 4404 not found. If it is not null, display the data from the retrieve data from the database based on this ID, and store it here, and again check whether the data is retrieved or not. If the data is not retrieved, so display the message not found. This is a built-in function, it will display the message. And if there is data, so pass this data to the view, and that will be visible on the view. And then if you want to delete, are you sure to delete the record, then this method will be called, and here again it will retrieve data from the database, and that will be stored in the st object. And then we call this property on the db context class and remove function to remove this record from the database, and then it will save the change, and it will become redirect to the index method, this one, index method. And here you can see whether the record is deleted or not. So this was the part of the controller. Now we want to create a view for this. Right click on the delete, add view. Okay. And then add. It will add a view for us. And now here we want to write the code and to design the delete view. Got it? To design the delete view. So here we just want to display the data and the message, are you sure want to delete the record or not? So it's very simple. I'm just going to display a simple record here. Nothing special is there. Here is the page. I want to include here the model on the top, model, and use CRUD, this one, dot model dot student, because I'm using here, and this display the message, are you sure? Delete the record. You can write your own message here. Are you sure want to delete the record? And then use the table class, just table, and here display tr td, and use HTML helper class, and use HTML dot display for. Okay, let me check it's display for or display name for. Okay, it's label for. This is the label for. Dot label for, use lambda expression dot id. You just see id here, and then the second td is used to display the data. HTML dot display for. Here use again the lambda expression m dot id. This will display the id for you. Okay, just copy paste to save the time. Control C, Control V, Control V. So here you will see the label for name, and this will be display the name, label for the email, and this will display data for the email, and this is the label for address, and this will display data for the address. All right. So this will just display the data for your confirmation, and you will confirm whether you want to delete that or not. Got it? Okay. Here, I want to create a link as well. You can create a link here as well. After this tr, create a tr and use HTML helper class dot action link. From this link, you can go back to the list. If you select a wrong record, if you don't want to delete the record, so you can go back. So just write down go back to list, and here is mention the index. After the table, just use the using section, using using and begin form HTML helper class dot begin form, and here create a submit button. This will submit a request to the server to delete the record. Got it? So here I'm going to create an input type submit and value delete in class btn danger. Got it? So we create this button. Once you click on it, that will go to the server and delete the record. And that will be better to use here this one as well to avoid the forgery attack. Okay, it's necessary to use this token to avoid the forgery attack. Okay, we did this. Now we will go back to the index page, run the index page, and then delete the record. Okay, it will display the page. You will see. Okay, so you can see this is the page. Okay, is the page visible? No. Now the page is open. You can see the page. So if I click on this delete, you can see what will be. There's a mistake. Okay, dear student. So now we just run this page. I want to delete the data. So click on this delete. It will show this page. Are you sure want to delete the record? And the record is also visible. The ID is 3, name is Ali, email address is this, and the address is this one. So once you become sure that you want to delete, then click on the delete button. So the data is deleted. You can see the data ID 3 is not here anymore. That is deleted, and now we become redirect to the index. Okay, let me delete this Ahmad record as well. So here is the delete page. You can see once you become clear that you want to delete, then click on the delete. So you can see the data is removed. And let's remove this Ali as well. If you want to remove, you can remove here. Ali is removed. And sometimes if you click here and I don't want to delete, so you have to go back. So how you can go back? So go to this delete page, and I have written the code. And just remove this comment. Remove this comment, save it, and refresh. Screen is visible. Okay, here the screen is visible. Okay, I didn't display how. Okay, here in this code, go to the delete page. This is the delete page, and this one I already committed. Now I remove the comment, this action link. Go back to list, and now go to back to the list here, and now I want to click on the delete. Got it? To delete this data. So if you click, okay, there's a problem. For now, just remove. I will just comment this. Okay, just comment. Okay. And then go to delete, and you can delete the record. Here you can delete the record. We will add the link as well that you can go back. If you want to add the record, you can go there and add the record from here. So that will add a new record. Okay, we studied how to delete and how to add and how to show the record here. Okay, so we studied the deletion, insertion, and show record. Now I'm going to write code for the edit. So again, for the edit, we have two action method. I will create two action method, public action result, and I will name it edit. So the data will be edited based on the ID, isn't it? Based on the ID, we want to edit the record. Okay. So we can continue with it. Okay, no. Here is ID. I will pass the ID here. And this will be the HTTP GET method. HTTP GET method. So it's same like the deletion GET method. So first of all, I'm going to check the ID. If the ID is equal null, so here it will return HTTP status code result HTTP status code dot bed request. So it will retrieve this one. We're not working. Provide. Okay, new. We just skip new. And that's clear. Then I want to retrieve the data which you want to edit. So here's the code. Use the student object, student class st is equal to db dot std dot find and find based on the ID. And again check whether the data is retrieved or not. If st is equal null, then return HTTP not found. And if it is not null, so then return the view. Return view and pass this data to view st. So this is the get method of the edit. Now we need one more method, and that will be the post method. So that will help us to edit the data. So here I will create another method, public action result, and use edit. Got it? And here we are using binding because we are editing the data. So use bind and use include and the name, what you want to update. I want to update the name. I want to update the email address. So include the ID as also. Then we have the email. Then we have the address. What is left? Email address. Okay, that's enough. Let me check the class. There is ID name, email address. Okay. And then create the object here, student st, and check the model state. If model state that is valid, then update the record. So for updation, what we have to write and what is the code? So we are using db dot entry and then pass the name of the object. So here we use the st dot state is equal to entity. So here is the entity state dot modified dot. So we need to include some libraries, that is data entity dot modified. So this code is used for the updation. Here we are using the db context class object dot entry function and then pass the object which you want to update. Then show the state of this. So the state of this entity will be modified, mean the state will be changed and that will be updated. And once it become updated, so then we want to save the change and redirect to action index. So that is the HTTP GET method. And finally, here we want to return the view. And that's it. Got it? So this is the HTTP GET method. Use here HTTP post method, and you can use the action name mention here is the edit. Okay, we can complete the code of the controller. Now we need to design the view for this. Student st. I have used the st. No, not there. It's not necessary. Okay, here, yes. Here we have to pass the st. Good. Okay, that's completed. Now we want to design the view. Right click on add view. Yes, create the view. And here, if you want to design a edit view, you know what will the edit view will look like? The edit view will look like the insertion, because there will be text field, and then we will display the data on those text field and update that. Got it? And update that record. Okay. Okay, dear student, we can just copy the insert page as well. So that would be easy for us just to copy, because it's same like that one. Let me copy that and paste here, because these two are same. So I'm going to copy the insert page from here, Control C, Control A, C, and paste it in the edit, Control A, V. just bring a little bit change here. Instead of it, insert, write down edit. And here we want to change this name as well. So here we don't need this thing. Just remove. Got it? Remove this. We do need it. And the view back also we want to write edit. So we just bring these changes. And let me check one thing more here. Okay. That's clear. Okay, that's clear. So we design this page. Now we want to save this and run the index page and go for edition to edit. Okay, one thing more. We have to change this button value as well. So here is button value. Where the button? Edit. So this value I will change to edit. And now let's see, here is the link edit. Once I click on it, you can see it displays this page, what you want to edit. So instead of Salim, I want to write Kareem. And instead of Kabul, I want to write Kunar. And then edit. You can see this is the edition, Kunar and Kareem. That is updated. So is it clear or not? Let me edit this one. So Salim to Ahmad. This email address to something at yahoo.com. And here you can write Kabul. Edit. You can see that become edited. This one. That is Ahmad, and this one is edited. Okay, so that was addition, and this is the deletion. You can delete the record. This is the insertion. You can insert the record. Okay, dear student, that was today's lecture that we have studied for operation to update, delete, insert, and show record. So now it's the time to start work on your project. Got it? Because we have studied this thing. And we will continue the security feature in next class. So CR, so give me the report about the project status.